Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. A number of you have been asking me about if I'm just looking to start my career in data analytics. What should I do? What kind of things should I learn? And where should I focus my time for the best value? So this video is going to be really targeted at those people who are new and just breaking into a career in data analytics. Potentially you might be a graduate and you're looking to get a role or career and a starting point within the data and analytics industry, or perhaps you've got more experience but you're looking to make that career change because you've got that natural interest in data analytics and you see the number of career opportunities and potential growth as well from that perspective. So this video is targeted at you guys specifically. I've been working in data analytics now for 20 years, so a number of things have changed in that time. But also, I'm going to just tell you about what I'd look to do from a technical perspective to upskill myself if I was starting from scratch and doing it all over again. And I'll also give you some advice on how best to kind of market yourself and your skills to hopefully land that dream job to get into the career you want. Now I'm going to break this down into 5 simple steps for you, which I'm going to talk through. And if you stay till the end of the video, I'll put a slide up on the screen that you can pause and you can get all 5 steps summarized for you, as well as the kind of realistic timescales that you can expect. The first point I'm going to talk about is technical skills. So basically when you break it down, data and analytics is all about obtaining data, cleaning it, transforming it, and then presenting that to a customer to help them make key business decisions by generating new insights from the data that you're providing and presenting it in a way that makes it simple, clear, and easier to understand. So if I go back 20 years ago, when I first started, it seems like a long time ago, certainly in the technology arena, but few things have changed fundamentally. And I want to mention a couple of those things I learned early on, and they stood the test of time. And I guess if you look back over 20 years, if they're still around and prevalent today, you can bet your bottom dollar that they're going to continue being around for a long time. So the first thing I got into initially was Microsoft Excel. Love it or hate it, it's around everywhere. Most job vacancies now don't even kind of mention it. They made us sort of say Microsoft Office skills. It's a prerequisite for nearly every single job in IT generally, and more broadly than that as well. Okay, so using Excel, being able to manipulate data, write basic formulas, really, really important. And it's also used quite heavily in terms of just cleansing data and manipulating it on an ad hoc basis. You're going to need Excel wherever you go. There's loads of videos for free on YouTube that will give you a good introduction to it. You don't need to go as far as potentially writing your own macros and VBA. I kind of went down that route very early on. And there's no real need to do that at this stage in your career, but you do need to really get familiar and comfortable with using Excel efficiently and to a productive level. The next thing that I was introduced to early on in my career was SQL, structured query language, as a programming language. And the fundamentals are actually quite easy to pick up. So a basic competency in SQL, it's quite easy to get going on that. Now, if you imagine all the data held in mid to large size companies is pretty much always going to be stored in a database of some kind, whether that be on premise or in the cloud. And that could be something like MySQL from an open source perspective, SQL Server or Oracle, and still on-premise versions of those around, and they're still hanging around and they're still pretty prevalent in the marketplace. But then you've also got things like Google BigQuery, Snowflake, Amazon Redshift, Microsoft Azure Synapse, which is the next generation of SQL Server in the cloud. Essentially, once that data is in a database, you're going to need SQL to get that data out and to transform that data to make it workable, as well as joining different data sets together. Now, to do that, that's actually quite basic, even if you've got no programming background before. Obviously, to get to an advanced level in SQL, that does take time and experience, and you're going to have to put more effort in. But if you've got Excel skills, and you build upon that with SQL skills, that means that you can go to your relational databases, obtain the data sets that you need, do some transformational manipulation to that data, bring it into Excel, and continue working with it as well. Excel only goes so far, obviously, in terms of the size and scale of the data sets. So having SQL then gives you a bit of best of both worlds. You can do ad hoc, smaller data set analysis in Excel more comprehensive, enterprise scale queries can be handled using SQL within your database. Finally then, this was something that wasn't as accessible certainly as it is today when I started my career. But let's think now, you've got the data, you've been able to manipulate it and analyze it, either in Excel or SQL or a combination of the two. Now you need to present your results. Well, of course you could do that in Excel. But an even better way of doing that now, and the bar's been lowered really, because to get into a data visualization tool, such as Microsoft Power BI or Tableau, is really easy. You can download Microsoft Power BI as a free desktop tool, and you can import your data into there either directly from spreadsheets or connect it to your database and bring the data into it. If you're then comfortable using Excel and writing formulas in that, you'll find the equivalent in Power BI really quite easy to pick up on. And again, there's a number of really good resources out there on YouTube for free for SQL, Power BI and Tableau, which will get you up and going. It will get you to a basic competency, and then you can then decide if you want to do a paid for course to get to that next level. The final couple of skills I want to mention is around Python and R specifically. Now, when I started my career, they weren't around, they weren't very prevalent. Certainly over the last sort of 5-6 years, they've become the de facto standard for data analysts and data science. People working in the industry today, it's taught at universities. I've never needed to use it, but if I was starting my career again now, I'd certainly want to strive towards getting certainly Python under my belt. Now, if you haven't got a programming background and you're going to be new to programming, it is going to be a bigger step than Excel, SQL, and writing data visualization dashboards, which I've just mentioned. So it is going to take you that bit longer. It is going to take you a while to kind of get your head around some of the concepts. It's well worth understanding now because it is growing rapidly. And a lot of people now in the market can write Python. So it is going to be good. You're going to be able to manipulate data using data frames and work with data in databases as well. So it's really complementary to SQL, but think about it as a nice to have. The first 3 elements are going to be fundamental to get you to a certain baseline, and then you can start looking into Python because it's going to take you that much longer in terms of a time investment compared to the other 3 together. So that's point 1, skills. Point 2 I want to talk to you about is something that I've done when I've been interviewing for roles for 10 years or so now, is not only do I go there with my resume, which we'll talk about in a few moments time, but I'll go there with like a case study or evidence and portfolio of evidence of work I've done in the past, and show that because it really brings that conversation to life. It shows the tangible outputs that you've produced before and some of the business benefits as well. Now, if you stay tuned till the end of the video, I'll include a link to a case study portfolio that I actually put together, and I used that for some years. I haven't used it or updated it for a couple of years now, but I'm more than happy to share that with you. It's got a range of different outcomes in there that I was involved with and working on my career. I used to draw from that various slides and take that in, depending on how relevant it was to the role I was discussing. So stay to the end. I'll give you a link. You can look at that. Now, that's paper-based or like a PDF format and portfolio that you could actually send on email or print out and take along with you to a face-to-face interview or share your screen. These days, everything's virtual now, and you could do that. What I also think that you could do is you could pop that onto something like a website, like a WordPress website, and put the similar content on there. What I think is even better these days though is this thing, video content. If you're comfortable with producing a video, you could even use the screen recorder on your own PC, do a brief 5-minute kind of run through that portfolio of evidence, upload it to YouTube. And if you don't want the world to see it, you can mark it down as unlisted or private. You can then include that URL with your CVs that go out, and then people can actually look at that, and it brings it to life. Not only is it just something on paper, it's something interactive, and especially if you designed dashboards in Tableau or Power BI, you can show that interactivity, talk through that, and it really acts as a differentiator in the marketplace because not many people are doing that. I think if you do that, it's going to help you stand out from the crowd, and it's going to add value to whatever conversations that you're having with potential job opportunities. So point number 3 is around a social profile on LinkedIn predominantly. I would say 90 to 95 of my work over the last few years and work opportunities has came through LinkedIn. And the value of having a social media presence and a brand that identifies with the work that you're doing is really, really important now. For me, resumes, the necessary evil, they're still going to be around. That's how the market works. Typically, people are going to expect to see a resume in a traditional format. But in the future, my personal views are resumes are going to be fading away and replaced by having a strong brand presence on an individual basis, what you do, what you're known for, and what you're good at. Go through your LinkedIn profile, have a look at my LinkedIn profile. I've spent number of hours over the years iterating that and improving that over time. Try to get some endorsements and recommendations from colleagues or from other people that you've worked with in the past. Post regularly, connect with people in your area or who are currently doing jobs, maybe 1 or 2 steps ahead of you. So then you can kind of follow their career path, build that network out. And like I say, a lot of job opportunities that I get are never ever advertised. It's through word of mouth, it's through the connections I've got on LinkedIn and the relationships I've fostered through that platform. So it's really, really worthwhile spending your time and investing some effort around creating a nice, clean, well understandable and presented profile. Number 4 then, so we mentioned it before, resumes. So necessary evil in my opinion, but you still got to use them. The purpose of them, don't forget, is to get you through the door, to get you in front of a potential customer or an employer. That's its job. Once it's done that, it's basically served its purpose, and then you can refer to your portfolio and your evidence of skills in a face-to-face or virtual interview. Making sure you've got a good, clear, succinct CV that makes it easy for any potential hiring manager to consume and understand what it is you do, what you can offer and bring to the table is really important. Again, if you stay till the end, I'll include a link to my own CV, which been through numerous iterations over the years. I always tailor my CV though, for if I'm needed to send a CV, but for a particular job opportunity, I'll always tailor it to make it really match up with what that job vacancy is or what the opportunity requires. I'll have a generic starting point, which is the one I'll share with you. You can use it as a template for your own format if you wish, or just use it for inspiration or some ideas. More than happy to share that with you, so stay tuned till the end and I'll give you the link to that. So I mentioned a lot of my opportunities come via LinkedIn. I think that works quite well once you've got a number of connections and a good strong brand built up. That takes time, it's not an overnight success. So in the meanwhile, you're still going to have to rely on your portfolio and your resume, but also working with recruiters and building good, strong relationships with them. So get in touch with ones that are looking after job vacancies in those roles, in those areas that you want to get into. Make sure they understand who you are, what you can do, what you're looking for. So you're going to be top of mind then if a vacancy comes in that ballpark, and they're going to be jumping on the call to you. Now, if they don't know you're there and available, you're never going to get a call. So it's important that you contact these recruiters regularly, keep that dialogue open. Again, have a cycle where you're kind of contacting them on a weekly or monthly basis or regular cadence that makes sense for you and your situation. If anything comes up, you want to be the first on the list. You want to hear about it first, because often timing is everything, and it may not necessarily be the best candidate that gets into a role. It could just be you're in the right place at the right time, and that gives you the upper hand for any job opportunities. Now in a second, you can pause your video. I'm going to flash a slide up on the screen that summarizes those 5 points that I've just been through, as well as kind of some estimated timescales of how long I think it could take somebody with no prior experience in data to work through that. Hope you find that useful. After that, we'll go through the links of where you can get the documents I mentioned before. Okay, so I mentioned a few documents I'm happy to share with you. One is my portfolio. Here's the link to that. You can go here, you can download that, and you can draw inspiration from it and use it as a starting point for your own creative portfolio yourself. And again, think about putting some of that into video content. Makes it easier to share, it's really reusable, and obviously you can share it with as many people as you want with a link on your CV. Second one is my CV or resume if you like. Here's my template. Here's a link to it. You can go there, download it, and use that. And finally, here's the link to my LinkedIn profile. Have a look through that. You might get some useful tips and hints from it. Make sure you complete all of the elements. LinkedIn kind of prompts you to do that, taking you through the steps. And that's everything. So I hope you found that useful. I know a few of you have been asking me about that previously. And if I didn't cover anything, or you want me to cover some more stuff in greater detail, then please leave a message or comment below. I'll be guided by you guys, whatever you want to see or understand more about. I'm here to help. Thanks for watching. Keep subscribing. New videos coming soon.